This is an interview with Thompson from Birmingham Civil Rights Institute's Oral History Project. I'm Dr. Horace Huntley. We're at the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute. Today is January 31st, 1997. I want to thank you, Ms. Thompson, for taking time out of your schedule to come and talk to me today. And I just want to start by asking some general questions.
Okay.
About your background. Were you originally from Birmingham?
No, I'm not. I was born in Greenville, Alabama, and my mom and dad separated when I was at an early age. And of course, I lived in Greenville with my grandma till about the age of 5 or 6. And my mom brought her 3 girls to Birmingham. So I've been in Birmingham ever since then.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where did your mother work?
She worked with the, at first she was in the domestic worker,
Mm-hmm.
and later on she worked for the Birmingham school system.
Okay. Was she, what kind of education did she have? Did she finish high school or college?
Matter of fact, she didn't. She stopped at 10th grade.
Okay. What did she do in Birmingham schools? Is she still working for the system?
No, unfortunately, she died in 1986.
Oh, okay. What did she do at the board?
Okay, she was a maid.
Okay. In one of the schools?
Yes.
Which school?
I can't remember.
But it wasn't Washington.
No.
Okay. And how many brothers and sisters did you have?
4 sisters, it's 5 girls.
5 girls.
Mm-hmm.
And where do you fit in? Are you the oldest? Or
I'm next to the oldest. I'm number 2.
number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you and my wife hold the same position in the family. She's number 2 out of 6 of them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. What community did you grow up in Birmingham?
Okay, mostly as a youngster in Tidsville.
Tidsville.
Mm-hmm.
But before you came to Birmingham now, you lived in Greenville. What do you remember about living in Greenville?
I just remember the old house that my grandmama lived in. I remember our pecan tree.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember attending school there for a short while before I moved to Birmingham.
So that when you came to Birmingham,
Mm-hmm.
you started first grade?
Great. Mm-hmm.
First grade in Birmingham. Okay. What do you remember about that move from Greenville to Birmingham? Was that a tough move for you? You had friends and relatives in Greenville?
Not really, because when she moved, she also moved my grandmother, and my grandma would still be our primary caretaker while she worked. So it wasn't a little loss.
Oh.
But I did leave some cousins in Greenville that I was pretty close to, but my grandmother was the most important person in my life at that time, and she came with us, so that was fine.
What do you remember about going to school at Washington?
Oh, I kind of liked it, but I remember our principal, W.C. Matheson. I remember that he was very strict and he pushed academics, and that stayed within me, and I liked it. As a result, it helped me, to achieve and to excel.
You know, most of the people I talk with that are your age, they all say that they remember their principal, and their principal was usually disciplinary.
Mm-hmm.
And that somehow found a place in their lives, to help them, to help direct them to what they are doing today. And there appears to be some lack of that kind of discipline, of course, in our schools today.
Oh, yes.
So tell me, what do you remember about the first years of your education at Washington? How did you get to school?
Our grandmother walked us to school.
So you lived right in the
neighborhood.
In the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Did you and your sisters, since there were all of you were you in the same age?
Yes,
level?
2 years apart.
Okay.
The first 3 was 2 years apart. Then the last 2, there's like 9 years difference between me and the 4th one.
Hmm.
And like 12 or 13 years difference between the last one.
Oh, okay.
So basically the first 3 grew up together. We were all 2 years apart.
Okay, so you were at Washington together.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we were.
What was that like having?
It was fun. It was security.
Yes, that's part of that blanket that you needed.
Yes.
Yes. Do you remember any of your teachers?
Yes, I do.
Did anyone stick out that would have had an influence upon you in your elementary days?
Our gym teacher, we call him Pop Brown, and he stood out in my mind. But also we had a teacher called Miss Bean, and she also serves as the school nurse. And if you had a headache or got sick, you always had to go to Miss Bean's office to get your Tylenol or to get your excuse to go home.
Mm-hmm.
But another teacher that was a very, very strong disciplinarian, and she was in the habit of giving kids baths if they came to school and just wasn't smelling so good, and that was Miss Anna Richard Smith. And she stood out quite in my mind. And also Miss Willis, she was my social studies teacher, and she really pushed and stressed academic accuracy. And also, I believe that was the first time I experienced having Sunday school lessons at school. Every Friday, she would bring her Sunday school book, and she would go over the Sunday school lessons for Sunday school class.
So you remember that vividly?
Yes.
That couldn't be done today.
No, that's why I remember I thought, so maybe we need to go back to the old way, because we definitely had that discipline, we had that God-fearing, and it has been a tremendous change.
What was the neighborhood like at the time?
Well, you know what? To me, it was just like a neighborhood. I think when I was growing up, we didn't have the distinction of this person being poor, this person being rich. We were all just lived in the neighborhood. And like I say, I had two teachers that lived on my same street, and so that's a Woodfall, we're an educator, and also the choir director at Birmingham High School lived on my street.
So you had professionals in your community? What did most people in your community, what kind of work did most people in the community do?
They were mostly common laborers.
So you had a mixture there of people. The blue collar workers, the teachers, the preachers.
Yes.
And that was one of the reasons why the communities were stable at the time, because you did have that mixture. When you left Washington, what school did you attend?
I attended Auburn High School.
Auburn High School, the Wolfpack.
Oh yes, might have green though. Green and gray, it would kill me.
Green and gray, that's right, green and gray. Yes, Auburn was, of course, a rival of a lot of schools, because the biggest rival, I'm sure, was with Parker.
Yes, our number one rivalry.
Number one rivalry.
You either win or you fight.
That was the case all over. Anytime that you went to someone else's school, it was that. Were you involved in extracurricular activities at all?
Yes, I was a member of the National Thespian Society and writing and career club and things like that. But mostly I went academic. I was an honor student.
Okay. And who were your teachers in Oldham that made an impression upon you? Who were they?
I was trying to remember, I love history and the social sciences. And I can't remember my history teacher right now, but I do know that his family members that also taught school live right across the street from me too. And of course Ms. Woodfall, she taught me Birmingham history. Ms. Higgins, and a math teacher.
And that's your principal. Who was the principal at that time?
W.C. Bear, another strong disciplinarian.
So during this time, now you were in school between 61 and 65.
Yes.
This is a time that, well, in 1960, that the city had moved. In 1961, the Freedom Riders came through. 1962, there was the Selective Buying campaign downtown. And of course, in 1963, in April and May particularly, where the demonstrations were taking place every day, from April 1st to about May 12th.
Right.
What were you doing during these times?
Attending the mass meeting and learning all about my rights and what I could do
So
to help
you actually attended the mass meetings.
almost every single morning.
Can you describe to me what a mass meeting was like? How would you describe that?
Okay, well, basically it was held at one of the black churches, and a lot of times at night around 7 o'clock, and everybody from all parts of the city came to that particular church, and they would have preaching, praying, and just different speaking. I remember W.Y.T. Walker speaking, and Reverend Bellows, and all the ones that came into the city helped motivate us, and Dr. Martin Luther King, of course, spoke at several meetings, and it was just motivated, power packed, making you really excited about joining the movement and explain to your rights and something that we have to do. It just excited me. Like I said, I was interested in history and social science, and this was just real to me. It excited me.
This was bringing it actually to reality, what you were studying in the books.
Yes, it was.
Yes. Were there other friends of yours that were involved?
Yes, my neighborhood friend, her name was Barbara Cunningham, and also my friend and classmate Janice Wesley. We kind of stuck real close together, and the usual one had done the other wood, so we kind of stuck together in different things.
Was family involved? Other family members?
Well, eventually, after I got so involved and I was arrested and had to go to jail and had to call my mom and notify her, she decided I need to go take a look at this. My child she found out I was missing school, and I was sneaking to all the mass meetings, and I wasn't accountable for her, so she said she needs to go take a look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And she did go with me to one mass meeting, and then she went to everyone.
Mm-hmm. How did you initially get involved?
Well, some other kids had talked to me about the civil rights movement, and they were meeting at their church, and they invited me. And I went along with them to listen to what they had to say. And some of the leaders pulled some of the younger ones aside and talked to them about that eventually we're going to play a big part in the civil rights movement, and they were seeking leaders, and they really wanted somebody to be a participant and show leadership ability, so when it came to that day when they were going to use children, that we would be available to assist them. And I was one of those persons.
Children were not used in mass until after May 1st, but you actually got involved prior to then.
Yes.
Because you went to jail in April.
That's right.
Why were you jailed? What were you doing?
Okay, well, like they said, it was soliciting people to march or, carry a sign, and I was carrying a sign marching from Newberry. And at that particular day, there was another young lady, maybe 14, we were all 14, 15. My friend who lived across the street from me, and 2 adults. And we paraded outside of Newberry with our signs, and we were arrested. They said for parading without a permit, and we were expecting to go to juvenile because we had kind of hinted to some of our friends that may where we were supposed to be, and they may need to call our parents. But for some reason, they took the adults to city jail, and I think they said juvenile was full, and they took us to county jail.
County jail.
Mm-hmm.
And how long were you there?
At least 4 days. I know I had signed up. They said I thought I could stay in jail 2 days. And then 3rd day would have been my birthday. And I was in jail on my birthday. And I think they got about a day or 2 afterwards.
So you spent your birthday in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Was that your 16th birthday?
Mm-hmm.
Your 16th? You should have been going and getting your driver's license that day. And you were in jail.
Rocking in jail. And we were very excited about it. And
What do you mean rocking in jail?
Well, we were very excited, and we were afraid that we were in the county jail because we weren't expected to go there. And matter of fact, the lady that was across the cell from us, who had just been brought in for murder, and we were frightened. So we sang our freedom song. We don't let nobody turn us around, and did our little chants, and just
So the jail was filled? Was it really filled?
I don't know what happened. I don't really know why we ended up at county jail. But for some reason, we went to the county jail.
Is that right? How many people were in there that was with you?
Three.
Just
Three.
And
students.
3 of you rocked the jail?
We were singing real loud,
Is that right?
shaking on it, little jail cell, and just keeping them
Well,
going.
what was the experience like being in jail?
Well, fun first day, but also frightening. They kind of intimidated us. They woke us up the next morning like at 5 o'clock. Gave us some brush and we had to scrub the floors down on our hands and knees. And I think it must have been an air vent with a tiny hose with like about 100 of them. They us away and they told us we wanted to speak and span clean. So from about 5 o'clock to maybe 11:30 or 12, we was working. And they brought us in one banana, maybe around 9:30 or 10 o'clock. They didn't feed us. And so it was a bad and good experience as I look back over it. So, and the other kids that had been arrested didn't go through it, but we had gone through.
Now, the day that you were arrested, did you leave home going to school, or did you leave home going to the church? Or
Of course, I left home going to school.
okay.
I didn't have my mom's permission to go and demonstrate. I left home going to school the way she expected me to. But then we made a detour and went down to the church.
So you never did go to school that day?
Right.
Okay, so you detoured and went on to the church?
Yes.
Okay. And you say you remained there for 3 days, 3 or 4 days? How did you get out?
I don't know. All I know is that someone came and said, you know, I have been posted, bail has been posted for you. And birthday, I said, why you give me out? 2 days ago was my birthday. I said, sign this paper. I want to be out for my birthday. I missed my birthday party. My mom always said something special for us for our birthday. And I missed it. They said, well, that's okay. We're going to give you a big birthday party. And I think that time they had the A.G. Gaston restaurant or something. And they taken me down there and told me I can invite, called my friends to come down there and we could order anything we want. So they helped me celebrate my birthday after jail.
Yeah, okay. So you did get a chance to celebrate your birthday?
I did.
Okay. Did you, after you had been released from jail, did you remain active?
Of course, that was one of the reasons they were preparing us and developing leaders. And if I could say that I had been in jail, then I could talk about jail and I could encourage others to participate in the civil rights movement. And so, of course, I was very active, talking to my friends, my neighbors about it, encourage them to come and go to jail too.
How were you, you went to jail on the 23rd?
22nd, I believe.
22nd. It was not until after May 1st, May 1st, 2nd, 3rd, when the masses of young people got involved.
Yes.
What was your role in that?
Okay, well, like I said, they were beginning to train us and they wouldn't announce the day, but they just told us we were preparing for D-Day. That was, the word was D-Day. And they divided up several little students who were responsible for different areas. And I was responsible for Titusville and Southside from crossing by that 6th Avenue South up to Roman High School. And so my job was to talk to as many of students in that area and work with them, invite them, and prepare them for D-Day, telling them what we're going to do, what our goals were, and be prepared so when we decide and select a date, they'll be ready. And also on that day, my responsibility was, if it happened to be when I was in class, where I was supposed to organize my class and then go from room to room and encourage others to come out. And if I was on the playground, I was supposed to organize the outside and put them in groups of teams and lead them out. And they have to be out on playground.
So you did lead the students that were on the playground, you led them out.
Right, and we had an overall scheme, and it was that High School was supposed to lead walking, and we were supposed to walk to Parker High School. Parker High School students were not supposed to leave and walk out until we got there, until Western Northern students came. And Carver High School students were supposed to walk to Hayes High School. And once the Carver student got there, the Hayes High School student would come out and meet them. And we'd all meet at Park and we would all walk down to 16th Street Baptist Church together. And we did do that.
Also, Parker students did wait until you arrived,
Mm-hmm.
and then you all converged upon the church basically at the same time.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, after you had done that, you have these masses of children now at 16th Street Baptist Church. What's happening?
Okay, they constantly telling us that it is our constitutional rights. It was justifiable to march. This is something that we should do, that we ought to do. But the key thing for it to be successful is to be nonviolent. And they encourage us not to fight back, no matter what. If they throw rocks at us, do it, but don't retaliate. That's the most important thing. And to be sure they check all the guys and make sure they have any knives or weapons or anything. The girls had to leave their person there, and they kind of tell us to clear out everything, but it strictly had to be nonviolent, and we had to walk in twos. And I think they sent us out in twos in groups of 50, and then we marched like that.
Were you arrested?
Matter of fact, I was not. On D-Day, I think I went out 10 or 15 times and was never arrested again. And it was so boring to me because all my friends had really got involved, and we had gotten involved when we had gained national news, and my friends were locked up in Fair Park, and I saw them on TV eating pizza and everything. I wanted to be there.
You were outside.
Couldn't get in. They wouldn't even arrest me.
Well, did you encounter the water hoses and
Oh
bottles?
yes, I got
What was
the
that
water.
experience like?
It was terrifying. The stream of water was so strong till it broke my skin apart. When they aimed at us, I had bruises on where the water hit me. It also knocked me down to the ground, and I had the dogs turn on me too.
Is that right?
Oh yes, I was in the park and they let the dogs loose and everything. They were coming at us. We were frightened, but we knew we would not stop. We would not turn around.
So you had the experience of both the water and the dogs.
Yes.
But did any of the dogs ever get to you? I mean,
Yeah, close enough to bite, but they didn't.
mhm.
I think they kind of held a leash on and we jumped back, but they never allowed them to actually attack us.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
That was a harrowing experience, I'm
Yes, it
sure.
was.
So you did that and you went on the various marches,
Mm-hmm.
but you were not arrested. Did you do that more than one day?
Oh, yeah.
Was that was
Mm-hmm.
throughout that period
Period.
between the first, the second, and about the 11th?
Right, yes, I went out every day.
Well,
You know, after a while, it was so many in jail that they stopped arresting us.
mhm.
Because they did the city jail, juvenile, fair park, and then they even taken some to Besson jail. So they really stopped arresting.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What did it make you feel like during that time when you were obviously out doing what you thought was necessary to change the system? What kind of feeling did that give you to come to this point where you and all of these thousands of other young people being actively involved in changing the system and changing your future?
It made me feel real good. I was proud to participate. I don't regret participating. And if I had to do it all again, I would. And when I look back over it, I'm glad that I was part of the movement. I make it a habit of telling my children about it, my nieces, my nephews. I don't want the dream to die. And I would do it.
Now, after this portion of the movement, you also got involved with SNCC, is that right?
Yes.
Did you join
Yes, I was a member of SNCC, and I went out to get the votes and participate in all activities SNCC.
Where did you participate with SNCC?
Well, what we did was we used to meet at the old Birmingham Urban League, right downtown.
Mhm.
And sometimes we had Saturdays meeting or Friday afternoon meeting. And we would just do voter registration drive. I also went to Dothan, Anderson, Savannah, Georgia, talking to other students and just doing things to involve other students, let them know about their rights. And also, actually they prepared us to read the voter registration test that was being given so we could teach people in the community how to take the test so they could go down and pass so they could vote.
So it was SNCC, you were primarily involved with voter registration?
Yes.
Were you still in high school?
Mm-hmm.
Was this during the summer or during the?
During the summers and the weekends.
Once you went to jail and then you were released and you went back to Ullman High School, what was your reception?
Well, some of the teachers openly patted us on the back, and some of them had to do it secretly. It seems that they were afraid of their job. And so by students, no problem, but I got good reception from some teachers, and some thought we had gone overboard.
In 1963, of course, after the demonstrations in September, 16th Street Baptist Church was bombed. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. Like I said, I was a member of National Thespian Society. One of my members and friends, Cynthia Wesley, was killed in that bombing. It was terrifying for me. I was devastated. We have a tendency of inviting each other to go to church with, and I thought I might could have been there that same day. And it was very,
So you and Cynthia were
yes,
friends.
and it was very terrifying for me,
Did you attend the funeral?
of course.
What was that like?
Scary. It wasn't as much of youth dying and funerals that I could recall or remember growing up. So it was a new experience for me, and I didn't like it, especially when they had three of them together. It was frightening to see three caskets with young people in it. I didn't like it.
Where did the funeral take place?
I think it was at New Pilgrim,
The 6th Avenue.
or 6th Avenue Baptist Church. I believe it was 6th Avenue Baptist Church.
If you could reverse time and go back to those times and the movement was going on, and you had the ability to, what would you change about the movement?
I would still keep it nonviolent. And I probably would like for the students to be involved. But I think if I could change it, I would give the students more background information and training. Like they had selected a few of us, and actually Dr. Andrew Young and Brother Bell was taking us off what they call on a retreat. And the first I heard about the grandfather clause was from them, and going into details about the principle of nonviolence and why Dr. Martin Luther King selected that method. I would really, really prepare our students more and just more preparation. We went on emotion, which were effective, but I believe in preparation.
How would you, if you had the wherewithal, how would you utilize what you learned during the movement to deal with some of the situations that we have today in our communities and our schools?
Well, I say often over again, we need more discipline. We need more people in the community that get involved and stand up for right. When I was growing up in the community, everybody what we call raised you. If I had done something wrong, then my neighbor could chastise me. Then I also would get a second chastisement from my mom. I might get a second whipping from my mom too. And God was an important part of our lives. We could say the school prayer. We could pray in school. And we also could be disciplined by others And I would like to see the communities, especially Black communities, be more involved with their children and let others help us take care of our children.
What did you do after high school?
Well, I graduated from high school and I went to Jeff State Junior College, majoring in nursing. I went on later to College of St. Francis in Joliet, Illinois, got my BS degree in health art, and I'm a registered nurse.
Well, Ms. Thompson, I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule and coming down to share this, because the activities that you participated in was very, very important. And we know that the masses of young people participated starting in May, but you actually were one of those that got involved sooner than that. And that's very helpful, because we don't have many people who have actually talked about getting involved that early. Most would get involved a little bit later. So that's been very helpful. So I want to thank you. Is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you would like to share with us?
No, I think you basically covered everything, but I would like to say that our youth, I'm very proud of what I've done. I'm saying today that our youth have not taken the opportunities of the struggles and the victories that we won for them in the civil rights movement. And I would like to see our students stop taking each other's lives and stop killing and get involved and vote and make a difference, because we can. And it's a saying by Karen Rowe that sticks out in my mind and have been for some reason since 96 and 97. And it kind of reflects my sentiments that I felt in the 60s. And it says that to achieve all that is possible, we must attempt the impossible. And to be as much as we can be, we must dream of being more. And that's what I felt about the movement. We attempted the impossible and won some victory. And I feel that that's still applicable today for our youth.
Thank you.
Thank you.